As we speak, after a judge denied his request for bail a second time, and the place where he's locked up now getting a lot of attention. The Metropolitan Detention Center, the only federal jail in New York City, is known for violence, poor conditions, and a string of celebrity detainees. And Diddy's attorneys want him out. NBC News' Yasmin Youssein has more.
From a luxurious $48 million Miami mansion to the grim reality of the Metropolitan Detention Center, Sean Diddy Combs faces a harsh turn of events. This federal facility, often described as hell on earth, is where chaos and dreadful conditions reign. Diddy is now held without bail after pleading not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges. The stark contrast between his opulent lifestyle and the dire conditions of his current situation underscores the dramatic fall of a once revered music mogul. His case, marked by shocking allegations, has captured global attention, further tarnishing his legacy. The courtroom battles and media frenzy surrounding his case set the stage for a high-profile legal saga that threatens to redefine his public image forever.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
The Metropolitan Detention Center is no stranger to high-profile inmates, with the likes of Ghislaine Maxwell, R. Kelly, and Sam Bankman-Fried having passed through its walls. Yet, the facility is infamous for its appalling conditions, including medical neglect, staffing shortages, and smuggling scandals involving employees. These issues have led some judges to avoid sending nonviolent offenders there. Diddy's fall from grace has placed him in this controversial setting, further amplified by fresh allegations involving Jay-Z. As the music industry reels from these revelations, questions about accountability and privilege emerge, casting a long shadow over the legacies of these powerful figures.
Is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being. They have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
Occupy the streets until they get heat.
Federal prisons, by mandate, are responsible for ensuring the safety and well-being of their inmates. However, ensuring basic welfare often remains an unmet promise until external pressures demand accountability, such as the reality for many incarcerated individuals facing deteriorating conditions. Diddy's current plight highlights systemic issues within these facilities, raising concerns about humane treatment even for high-profile inmates. This discourse sheds light on broader institutional failures that impact inmates across the board.
Now understand how cold it must be in those cells, and not to have any electricity, any lights, and to not be able to communicate with your family is just
In the chilling winter of 2019, a power outage at the Metropolitan Detention Center left inmates without heat or light for an entire week. This harrowing event, which exposed the prison's inability to safeguard basic human needs, ignited protests and public outrage. Such conditions raise serious questions about the management and accountability of federal detention facilities, particularly for vulnerable detainees. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the neglect that often pervades these institutions, making it a focal point in broader discussions about prison reform.
DC has historically had tremendous problems, and the problems aren't resolved.
With over 1,000 detainees, the Metropolitan Detention Center is the only federal prison in New York City, following the closure of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in 2021. This decision came 2 years after Jeffrey Epstein's infamous death by suicide. In response to mounting criticism, the Bureau of Prisons has implemented measures to address staffing shortages and other challenges, including forming an urgent action team. Despite these efforts, the center remains under scrutiny, highlighting systemic issues within federal prisons. For Diddy, being housed in such a facility underscores the stark reality of his legal battles and the broader implications for criminal justice.
Diddy Combs has been denied bail in connection with the sexual abuse and sex trafficking charges he faces. And as Les Trent reports, the music mogul who once traveled by private jet to all those mansions is now in a jail that is notorious for its bad living conditions.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs spent his first night behind bars inside a facility that is being called hell on earth. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is notorious for its appalling living conditions and rampant violence. How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
Diddy's lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. Today, they are even offering to restrict female visitors to his homes, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. They told the judge the jail he was being sent to is dreadful, dirty, inhuman, and an ongoing tragedy.
How's your dad doing? How's your dad doing?
Family members appeared somber as they arrived at federal court in Manhattan today in another attempt to get out on bail. The judge cited Diddy's history of violent temper and potential intimidation of witnesses as reasons for keeping him behind bars. Diddy's former protege, singer Aubrey O'Day, is celebrating Diddy's downfall today. I feel validated, a win for women all over the world.
Combs has pled not guilty. Those were the only words he uttered in court yesterday.
Diddy's legal team initially saw house arrest at his Miami mansion, but now pushes for his transfer to a New Jersey prison. They cite the Metropolitan Detention Center's deplorable conditions, including violence and deaths, as grounds for relocation. Currently held in a high-security unit, Diddy faces a grim environment that starkly contrasts his former life of luxury. Meanwhile, his case, intertwined with shocking allegations against Jay-Z, unveils a dark narrative that continues to unfold. The legal battles of these entertainment powerhouses reveal deeper issues within the justice system and the industries they once dominated.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Denied bail on charges of sexual abuse and trafficking, Diddy now resides in the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center. Described as hell on earth, the facility's dire conditions include violence, murders, and suicides. Federal judges have even refused to send inmates their due to its appalling state. Adjusting to prison life is a harsh reality for Diddy, who once enjoyed unparalleled luxury. Despite his legal team's desperate attempts, including offering his mansion as bail, the court cited his history of violence and potential witness intimidation as reasons for his detention. This stark shift from opulence to incarceration marks a dramatic chapter in Diddy's life, with his case sparking both public outrage and debate.
The DOJ shut down New York City's other federal jail, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, back in 2021, 2 years after Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide there. A Bureau of Prisons spokesman telling NBC News they, quote, take seriously addressing the staffing and other challenges at MDC Brooklyn, adding the director appointed an urgent action team and they've increased staffing.
MDC has historically had tremendous problems, and the problems aren't resolved.
Diddy's life behind bars is a far cry from his once glamorous existence. Reports reveal his struggles with harsh prison conditions, isolation, and alleged animosity from both staff and inmates. The stark contrast between his past power in the music industry and his current plight underscores the gravity of his situation. His experience reflects the harsh realities of incarceration, where the fall from grace is both personal and public. As his case progresses, the challenges he faces in prison add another layer to the unfolding drama surrounding his legal battles.
Osman's back with us now. So what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that? As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released to his mansion on $50 million bail, wanting a GPS monitoring system, limited visits from family members, friends, so on and so forth. That is what they're proposing because of course, the violence I talked about in that piece inside these jail walls. They also, in the meantime, Hal, want to get him moved to a jail and or prison in New Jersey. The judge so far has essentially said that is up to the Bureau of Prisons to make that decision. Nonetheless, it's all going to be on appeals leading up to the trial. His next court appearance, by the way, October 9th. So looking for that, of course, and any decisions coming out from the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on this order.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Diddy's worsening prison treatment is believed to stem from the severity of charges against him. Prosecutors allege that he orchestrated drug-fueled parties, used violence to control victims, and operated an expansive trafficking network. These shocking accusations paint a damning picture, further amplifying public scrutiny and media attention. The case highlights the intersection of power, crime, and accountability, raising questions about the broader societal implications of such allegations. For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher, as his reputation and freedom hang in the balance.
Near future.
I want to play a clip. This is from November the 4th, but it's where Sean Combs spoke to his children on the day of his 51st birthday. Let's take a look at this.
Happy birthday to Daddy. Yay!
I love y'all so much.
We love you too.
Love you, Pastor. I can't wait to see y'all. Yeah. Can't wait to see y'all. And I just want to say I'm proud of y'all, especially the girls. I mean, all of y'all, but just for being strong. Thank y'all for being strong, and thank y'all for being by my side and supporting me. I love y'all. I got the best family in the world.
Miss Stacey Schneider, we saw that, obviously designed, put out on social media, designed to make him look like a good father, good family man, the last person who could possibly be guilty of these incredibly serious things he's been charged with. We also, when he was at the bail hearing, and I'll come to that in a moment with you, he seemed to wink and laugh at the media. His own behavior here, how relevant will that be in the general mix?
So prosecutors raised that video we just saw with the family as him trying to allegedly tamper with the jury pool and create this image, but I don't really buy it. And as a criminal defense attorney, I don't think there was much wrong with the family video. He wasn't signaling to witnesses in the case. He wasn't commenting on the evidence in the case. He wasn't even declaring his innocence. He was merely sending out a video of his family wishing him well for his birthday. And when he goes to trial, there is no doubt in my mind, and I know as an attorney I would tell him to do this, I would have his family sitting in the front row behind him showing their support. It's very important that you show that people are vested in the outcome of the case, that you have family members involved, and it's important. This man is in media, and I don't blame him for trying to sway the optics and show he's a good family guy. I think that has no effect on the outcome of the case, and it should not affect bail. But he's done plenty of other things that are going to go against his getting bail, and this should be the least of it.
Yeah, I mean, on the issue of the bail, the court rejected the idea that Diddy be kept under house arrest at his island home in Miami. The district judge said that's not going to work. However, the judge did seem to potentially open the possibility to confinement with around-the-clock security at a 3-bedroom apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side. I mean, from everything you've gleaned from this case, Stacey, how likely is it that he will be let out on bail?
So I'm calling it 50-50 right now. The reason they didn't want to use the Miami house is because it actually has a boat deck or a boat pier behind the house, and they were worried about people coming up behind the house. The New York City apartment, which is this 3-bedroom apartment in New York, which isn't that large for a mogul like that, which is interesting. But that they're going to hire private people.
Adding fuel to the fire is the revelation of over 100 alleged victims planning to take legal action against Diddy. It's a tidal wave of accusations, each one more horrifying than the last. His defense team has maintained his innocence, claiming that he's the victim of a coordinated smear campaign. However, with his criminal trial set to begin in May 2025, the odds seem stacked against him.
They proposed hiring private people to guard that, to monitor who comes in and out, who he can speak to from the home, what phone lines are available to him. But the problem is, I don't know that the judge is going to give him that break, which most defendants would get with these types of charges. I mean, such an unusual case. This isn't like he's a danger to the community at large. He's a danger to the limited number of people he allegedly engaged in. But I think that the use of his resources extending out and his alleged attempts while he's in prison to reach out to witnesses potentially is going to hamper the judge's decision to let this happen. But in all fairness, he probably should give him that opportunity based on the charges.
Officer Tatum, I mean, during the hearing, the defense lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, disputed the prosecutor's contention that a 2016 hotel surveillance video of Diddy assaulting his former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, we mentioned this earlier, known as Cassie, obviously, showed there was a risk he would act violently if released. I mean, you know, it wasn't just that video. We've had a lot of women come forward and talk about either what happened to them or to other people, other women, involving his tendency to commit acts of violence against women. This idea of whether he's a danger to the public, he's obviously a violent guy. We saw it with our own eyes. When you drag a woman through a hotel corridor, oblivious to the fact there are cameras, and just start beating her up, that's a dangerous guy, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think he's conditionally dangerous, meaning that when he's in situations where his anger gets the best of him, he lash out on people and can really do some damage. Obviously, we saw on camera one incident. I'm sure he beat her all the time. At least that's what she alleged. So I think that when they're looking at whether or not he's consistently violent, it's not like he's in the streets doing drive-by shootings and got bodies on his record. So they're not going to consider him to be a present dangerous person. However, his financial means and the history of alleged things that he's been involved in, which using other people to commit crimes, is the thing that I think they should be most worried about. P. Diddy got a ton of money. He got a ton of influence. The reason people have been quiet so many years is because I believe, and this is my opinion, I think that they're afraid for their lives. I mean, he can get hitmen to come out and touch you. Right. And he's rapped about it. He's been involved with situations like that. People think he has something to do with Tupac's death. And so I think that they should consider that him being out could cause him to use other people to act on his behalf to do violent things to get him out. He has a lot to lose, and people that have a lot to lose will do crazy things.
Yeah, I mean, Lord Jamar, I mean, look, he's always portrayed himself, yes, as a mogul, but also as a bit of a gangster. And I always think when people show you who they are, you should believe them. You know, I do think that what Officer Tatum said there has got merit. I think this is a dangerous, violent character who's used to control, whose life is currently spiraling out of control. And as such, I would think he might represent a danger to people, particularly those, as Officer Tatum said, who might want to testify against him.
I mean, you know, as someone that knew him, like coming up as a teenager, he didn't have a gangster type of background. But I must say, once you get money and influence and all this,
the evidence against Diddy is reportedly overwhelming, contributing to his vilification in the public eye. Federal prosecutors have presented a compelling case, supported by disturbing testimonies and detailed allegations. Public opinion has largely turned against him, adding immense pressure to his legal team. As the trial approaches, the weight of the charges and the mounting evidence leave little room for optimism. Diddy's case has become a focal point of national attention, symbolizing the broader consequences of unchecked power and privilege.
Comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, said, because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress. In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, this incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory.
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
Yeah, I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of, being chastised by their fans.
All right, Chloe Malas joining us now live. Chloe, we just heard a very strongly worded statement from Jay-Z. What else are you hearing from him and his team?
Yes, so his attorney said that they're going to ask the court to, quote, dismiss this frivolous case. And also moments ago, we heard from Diddy's legal team, and I want to read you some of what they said. They said, quote, this is the beginning of the end of this shameful money grab. And remember, he remains behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and his criminal trial begins in May.
All right, very thorough reporting there. Chloe, thank you so much for that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Over 100 alleged victims are preparing legal action against Diddy, unveiling a tidal wave of accusations. His defense team claims these allegations are part of a smear campaign, asserting his innocence. However, with his criminal trial set for May 2025, the odds seem stacked against him. The magnitude of these claims, combined with the intense media scrutiny, underscores the high stakes of this case. For Diddy, the upcoming trial represents not just a fight for his freedom, but also a battle to salvage what remains of his tarnished legacy.
What made you want to come forward?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
Just when the saga seemed to reach its peak, Jay-Z, a billionaire entrepreneur and musical icon, faces allegations that have left the world in shock. According to a civil lawsuit, Jay-Z and Diddy are accused of assaulting a 13-year-old girl during an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. The complaint claims that other celebrities were present during the incident but chose to remain silent. This bombshell accusation has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, tarnishing the reputation of one of its most celebrated figures. The gravity of these allegations has brought an already turbulent narrative to an even darker place, forcing fans and critics alike to grapple with the disheartening revelation.
What could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Jay-Z has fiercely denied the allegations, branding them as a calculated blackmail attempt. In a public statement, he challenged the accuser's lawyer to file a criminal complaint instead of pursuing a civil lawsuit, asserting that anyone guilty of such a crime should face severe punishment. The lawyer, Tony Busby, however, stands firm, maintaining that his client sought confidential mediation, not financial compensation. Busby emphasized the seriousness of the accusations, vowing that the truth would emerge in court. This brewing legal battle is poised to be explosive, pitting a high-profile celebrity against a determined legal team. The stakes are monumental, as the case threatens to upend Jay-Z's legacy and public image.
Well, it's been 1 week since the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs on federal charges, and living behind bars is the exact opposite of what he has been used to. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is a place that's been described as hell on earth. Fox 5's Lisa Evers is at MDC right now with more on this. Lisa, what's the update?
Well, Bianca, we're here at the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC. It's a federal jail that houses criminal kingpins and killers who are awaiting the resolution of their cases. Now, for the first time in his life, accused sex trafficker Sean Diddy Combs spent the weekend here behind bars in solitary confinement and on suicide watch. MDC is a tough place, so rough you can hear detainees shouting even on the streets. There are constant lockdowns due to violent outbreaks, but former detainees I spoke with tell me that the experience here for Diddy will be different. Like other first-time celebrity defendants, he's reportedly under suicide watch, basically naked except for hospital paper, throwaway clothing, and rubber shower shoes. He's under 24-hour watch and kept separate from all other inmates. He has a bed with a blanket and no pillow. There are no electronic devices, but if he's lucky, he'll have the use of a radio for a short time. After being denied bail twice by 2 federal judges, he's expected to stay here until his trial, and this could limit his ability to prepare his defense. Many criminal defense attorneys say he's fighting a mountain of evidence and tough prosecution from the government's all-female team. I spoke with federal trial attorney Philip Hamilton, and he tells me when a defendant is behind bars at MDC, it's much more difficult to work on their defense no matter who they are. There is no private VIP area for lawyer consults. Here's what Hamilton told me.
Even in terms of just being able to converse with his lawyer, he's going to be doing it down in the regular waiting room with everyone else. You know, I can tell you from my experience there were times when I would go to interview clients, let's say during the course of R. Kelly's trial, I would see him right there speaking with his lawyers, just the same as everyone else was down there speaking with their lawyers and visiting with their family members. There's no special wing.
Now, other defense attorneys tell me that with this particular jail, there are other issues as well that present difficulties to putting together an effective defense, namely the lack of reliable Wi-Fi or high-speed Wi-Fi. And in a case like Diddy's, which prosecutors say has hundreds of terabytes of data involved in the evidence, that could present a real problem. Now, he can continue to appeal the no bail decision, but that may take too long. We'll have much more for you on this on the Fox 5 News at 5. Live from MDC, I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Bianca back.
The allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy have created ripples throughout the entertainment world, casting doubt on the legacy of 2 icons. Once viewed as symbols of success and influence, their reputations now hang in the balance. Fans struggle with feelings of betrayal, while critics argue that this marks a long overdue reckoning for an industry that has often turned a blind eye to misconduct. The unfolding scandal highlights the darker undercurrents of fame and power, forcing a collective reassessment of the culture that enabled such behavior. As these revelations come to light, the entertainment industry faces increased scrutiny and demands for accountability.
There is nothing unusual about the timing other than the fact that the client authorized us to amend the lawsuit and name Jay-Z as a defendant.
The lawsuits and charges against Diddy and Jay-Z have raised uncomfortable questions about the music industry's complicity. How many individuals were aware of these alleged crimes? How many chose silence to protect their careers? The lawsuit's descriptions of bystanders failing to intervene are a stark reminder of the damage caused by inaction. This silence is as damning as the acts themselves, underscoring the need for systemic change. As the industry faces this reckoning, it must confront its own culture of prioritizing fame and fortune over justice. The scandal serves as a wake-up call, shedding light on the accountability long overdue within the music world.
These kinds of demand letters are sent on a daily basis across the United States, and attempting to attack me to take the focus off of the alleged perpetrator won't work, and it won't intimidate us.
Diddy's worsening conditions in prison have sparked debate over whether he is being unfairly targeted. Some argue that his high-profile status and the severity of the charges make him a scapegoat, while others believe his treatment is justified given the gravity of the allegations. Regardless of perspective, his fall from grace is undeniable and profound. Once celebrated as a music mogul, he now faces a stark reality behind bars. His journey from opulence to incarceration serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating how unchecked power can lead to devastating consequences. The debate over his treatment mirrors broader societal discussions about justice and punishment.
The woman who says she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs when she was just 13 can now proceed in her lawsuit without publicly disclosing her name, at least for the time being. A judge in New York now says the woman can remain anonymous because to substantial interest from the public, and that's the reason here. However, she may need to reveal her identity at a later date to allow defense lawyers to prepare for trial. Meanwhile, Combs, currently in jail awaiting a trial on federal sex trafficking charges, denies the claims. Jay-Z says the accuser is trying to blackmail him.
Jay-Z's association with these allegations has cast a shadow over his empire, even though he has not been criminally charged. From his music to his business ventures, everything he has built now stands at risk. His marriage to Beyoncé, one of the entertainment world's most celebrated unions, is also under scrutiny. Fans and industry insiders speculate on how this will impact her image and career. The fallout from these allegations has the potential to reshape their personal and professional lives profoundly. As the case unfolds, the implications for Jay-Z's legacy remain uncertain, adding another layer of complexity to this ongoing saga.
We've got some breaking news to get to. A civil lawsuit has been filed against Jay-Z, saying the rapper raped a 13-year-old girl back in 2000. The suit alleges that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, raped the girl after the Video Music Awards alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The victim says she was invited to an after-party after being spotted by a limo driver and was then assaulted by both rappers. Jay-Z is calling this a blackmail attempt. He released a statement on social media responding to the lawsuit, and Texas attorney behind the legal action saying in part, these allegations are so heinous in nature, you have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I look forward to showing you just how different.
As Diddy and Jay-Z face their respective legal and reputational battles, the world watches intently. Each new development, from court hearings to public statements, is dissected and debated. The media frenzy surrounding the scandal shows no signs of abating, reflecting the public's insatiable appetite for updates. This case has transcended the realm of celebrity gossip, becoming a focal point for discussions about power, privilege, and accountability. The intense scrutiny these icons face underscores the high stakes of their situation, as their legacies and futures hang in the balance. The world waits, eager to see how this dramatic saga will unfold.
Charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or...
This scandal is not just about Diddy and Jay-Z. It's a story of power, privilege, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. It forces society to confront uncomfortable truths about the industries it admires and the people it idolizes. The allegations serve as a stark reminder of the importance of accountability for the victims, the accused, and the systems that allow such behaviors to persist. As the narrative evolves, it challenges us to question our own complicity and the cultural values that enable misconduct. This story isn't just about justice for the individuals involved. It's about redefining the standards of accountability.
Only seeking justice for Jay-Z, he says that he also wants to expose the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby.
He takes away the voices from real victims and he causes real harm. If this lawyer has any sense, he's going to dismiss this claim. I don't know whether he has any sense.
As the drama surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z continues, pressing questions remain. Will they ever recover from these allegations? Can their legacies be salvaged? Or are they destined to become cautionary tales beyond their personal stories? This case raises broader issues about the entertainment industry and the hidden truths it harbors. How many more stories like this are yet to emerge? As we await the next chapter, this saga serves as a sobering reflection on power, privilege, and the pursuit of justice. The answers to these questions will shape not only their futures, but also the industry's trajectory for years to come.